So if you're listening to the backdrop, you can hear my voice. What's good? What's good, everyone? This is my first live stream. I appreciate anyone that's going to be looking at this live stream. I appreciate y'all. This is my first live stream. I probably said that twice. My bad. It looks like we good right now. The first thing I'm going to be doing. No. Let me start. I'm kind of excited though. I'm not gonna lie. This is my first live stream. I hope to get like thousands of viewers at some point. Donations. So I can serve all y'all properly, etc., etc. I hope this is the start of something really, really big. I really do. And so yeah, I'm kind of a bit nervous, obviously, but everything shall pass. Um, I apologize if there's anything that crazy happening to the live stream. Progress over perfection. So let's get to business. Let's get to business. Let's get to business. Let's get to business. Right. Now, the first thing I'm going to show you is a song that I'm probably going to be putting up more than likely. I want to say sometime tomorrow. So I'm probably going to be working on this after this live stream. I'll let you listen to a little bit of it. I usually add bass last anyways. Make sure everything fits on there, then I mess with the bass. My strong suit is usually, I'm gonna say hi-hats, synths, etc. But yeah, that's a little bit of it. Some of the things I like to add, like I said, like I add certain synths to it. I get a tune, try to catch a tune off of like a pre-made sample. Um, Very seldom do I actually end up making my own sample, like legit, like this, like a waveform. Um, I usually just put it into the pattern, and one of the things that I usually draw inspiration. I just draw inspiration out really out of anywhere, like out of nowhere. Then all of a sudden, it just somehow everything fits together. I'm not sure why or how that happens. Honestly, I attribute that to God. I ain't gonna lie about you on that one, but it's talent, everything else, man. Sometimes you get a tune in your head, you be at work, you be, I don't know, laying in the grass somewhere, something. You can be sad, and all of a sudden you make a song that you would consider a hit, or it ends up being a hit. And I think that's pretty amazing when it comes to music, man. That's why I always loved music in the first place. But yeah, give me 1 second. But yeah, I typically try to go off of that, just go off a pattern and just go from there. What I wanted to work on tonight really was this one I'm about to show you right now. I'm gonna give you an idea of it. So I haven't made like the kicks or anything or nothing like that, but I do use a reference. And by reference I mean like a drum pattern, like a pre-made drum loop. And let Let me see what channel's on. It's on the 6th. Well, this is really what the sample sounds like. And I have some plugins for that. I just pre-made. I just put it on there just to see if I like them or not. If you take off everything, it sounds like this. And let me play the full spectrum of it. And this is really the idea I'm trying to get for it. So that's pretty much the whole, like, the main idea I'm trying to get out of it. I'm trying to make like a drill beat, one of those UK beats or whatever. So I'm about to start doing that right now. So I'll put this somewhere. I'll just leave it here for now. Change this over here. This is the kick I want to use. Also, by the way, you don't want to be turning up like the volume too high, you know. I'm just letting y'all know this is music. It can end up being raw. You end up hearing something in your ear. The ear end up ringing because you hear the kick and it's too loud because it's a raw kick. I'm not messing with the volume, at least not initially. So yeah, you might want to turn it down a little bit, unless of course you're just listening to it out loud. But without further ado, let's get to it. It's my kick. I usually have it. Yeah, let me mess with it a little. What is this? Hold on. Oh yeah, that's my hi-hat. I'm tripping. Make it interesting. yeah, I want to leave some space in there. Yeah, with drill beats, you definitely want to leave some space in the hi hats. I'm not like a complete expert on it, but I understand music when I listen to it. That's the reason why I'm like making certain adjustments. Make it a little bit more interesting, so I might go low. Try to go low to high. Messing with the volume a little bit. Make it sound even more interesting. What I like to call typically ear candy. Oh wait, hold on. No. I don't like it like that. I might like it like this. And then not only that would help, what you would then have, let me see. Something like this. And now the hi-hat sounds even more interesting. Now the hi-hat basically sounds even more interesting. The same piece I have here, I probably want to add here as well. Didn't. So typically you would have that kind of pattern, just didn't. So I'm probably just going to copy and paste that over here. Give me a second. Again, hold up. In the shaker. Get kind of the idea I'm going for. Now here comes the interesting part. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start adding a little bit more extra to it. For example, let me see what this. little vocal that I'm actually messing with. So see what pattern this is. So that would be pattern 7. Let's try this out real quick. 1, 2, 3. So on the third, then here. Sounds a lot better. Now this is what it would typically sound like with the filter on. And this is the part that I'm actually planning on having like as like the I want to say like during the verse. Usually on my verses I would either pitch the sample down or I would actually like put it out of the way, use some, some music theory. So I would actually filter it out. It's kind of like a decrescendo, if you even know what that means. It's a crescendo, decrescendo. That's when the volume goes up and the volume goes down. But really, this is more so filtering it out and then bringing it back in. Except this is more like blunt with it, so you just hear it. But really, I'm trying to do it like this. Somewhat like that. But the sample itself, I actually want to put this effect on it. It adds a lot more definition to it. Whereas alone, it just sounds. The sample sounds good, but typically I like to add some distortion or a little bit like a flanger, like a phaser effect on my plugins, or kind of a lo-fi effect on my plugin or on my samples or anything. It doesn't matter what it is, typically, but more so it's like the instrument, the main instrument. So the next thing I'm gonna do is use a little bit of these, and this is like my touch to it more so than anything. So for example, I got it from this folder. I named it like 8-bit sounds. And I like using certain things like that because I'm a fan of certain video games, etc., etc. So these are the sounds that I chose for this stream. And I'm just gonna somehow see if it works in here. If it doesn't, I'll just delete it out. But for now, I'll just add it. I'll see how it works. Might add a fade to it. So it's not all the way in the way, it just goes from left to right. So it's fade stereo. Sometimes I like to play with that. And I added it on the end right there for a reason because I wanted to just be a whole bunch of them. I just added like where I would like to add it typically. mess with the panning sometimes. That's right. I want it probably left to right, honestly. So you kind of almost hear the full spectrum of what I'm going for. So let's see. Really, I can use that almost as a an open sample. So I can legit use that as an open sample. But I probably want to leave it out of the way. So, and the reason why I shifted it over because it was going to get in the way of the hi hat. Sometimes I'll just leave it there, but it's going to get in the way. So you hear that. Brrr. If I had put it there, you're not going to hear it as much. It just gets in the way. So I just put it. I like to place things where they should be placed or where I want them to be placed, and preferably out of the way. And for the most part, that is the drum. That those are the drums. That's pretty much everything I want to add on there for the most part. I'm gonna let you hear it with the drum loop, and then I'm gonna let you hear it with all the add-ons. And then with all the add-ons, excuse me, this is what it would sound like. Sounds tough. I mean, it's basically simple as that. And I typically do that. I just catch a feel for it, and I just do it. I don't tip. I have a lot of talent when it comes to hearing things and then trying to and then making it typically a reality because that's all you're doing when you're making music. You're making things out of thin air. It's almost like creation, essentially. So it literally is creation. You're making things out of thin air. I mean, look at all these drum loops and everything else. This is on a computer. It's not even like I'm necessarily recording everything else. I mean, of course, some of these were pre-recorded and everything like that, but you're essentially in a program making this and putting everything together almost like a score sheet and make something like this. And keep in mind, that's without the mixing for the most part. So you already have a beat just from there. But what I'm going to do is a little bit of mixing or a lot of bit of mixing. And you can see that, for example, I've been working on this. Well, it says an hour, but as you can see, it's been about 25 minutes. I just pulled a lot of stuff in just because. And knowing me, I like to listen to the sample, so I'll just be sitting there for a couple minutes, just banging, bobbing my head to the sample. But in reality, this was what 25 minutes, and it typically makes on the live stream is usually it takes me longer anyways because I'm trying to entertain, I'm trying to talk to people, talk to you guys, etc., etc. So of course I'm not going to be solely tuned on just making a beat. If I was solely tuned on making a beat, I wouldn't even be talking right. Really, I would just be doing it, or I'll just be banging my head, or I'd be like, "Yo, this is fire, yo, this is crazy," or something like that in the back of my head. But or out loud, it doesn't really matter. But that's really what it is. And I didn't even add the bass yet, really. But like I said before, I typically like adding the bass last for whatever reason. I always thought that was really my weakness. I wouldn't necessarily say that. It's just I just add it last. At the end of the day, sometimes I add it first. Sometimes I add it last. I mean, most time I add it last. It is what it is. But yeah, let's get to the mixing a little. Now I want to mention that like a lot of these are presets, and I usually go from presets. A lot of these, really all of these, I've made essentially myself, tailor fit to what I like to mix or how I like to mix things. I do have some in here. I brought some presets in here. So like my suggestion is, man, always make some presets for yourself. And here, parametric EQ, just make some presets for yourself. After a while, it makes everything a lot easier. It makes everything go faster because I can just easily just put a kick here, and I could just press kick, and it mixes it. It mixes everything out, like it takes the highs out, etc. But every sample is not created equal. Sometimes you want to leave in some of the high end or mess with it a little bit, but for the most part, I just like to cut it out entirely. So, you know. And typically, I try to take some out of the three ends sometimes because well because this area right here in the number two, if you take too much out, then the kick is not even really a kick anymore. So what I like to do is take out some of the tail end. Sometimes you don't always have to do it, but sometimes I like to do it. And then on the 808, I take out this because I want the kick to have its own, its own character in the beat, and the 808 have its own, its own tail in the beat. So you hear boom, boom, or whatever the 808 sounds like. And typically, when I like to mix, I try to keep everything, or at least nowadays, I try to keep everything below -6, between -12 and -6. You can master bus it. I'll probably show that like on maybe the next live stream, or the live stream I have on Sunday or next week, whatever. But I will make a live stream dedicated to that, to how I mix specifically. But I mean, you're probably gonna see me mix anyways. But I'll talk about master busting at some point. I may put a YouTube video out on it and show you how to do that. But typically, I don't like to put for the most part. I don't like putting anything on the master unless it's for example, Z Game Editor, but that's the visualizer. So, or I'll master it with let me see if I can find it. I have to get used to my new layout. Isotope, like Ozone 9, really Ozone 9 Elements is what I like to use. Less CPU, etc., etc. But you can use Ozone 9, and I just, you know, mess with that. But that'll be for another video. So for now, you're gonna see me mix a little bit. also when I mix, I also wanted to mention some of my beats are like mixed in this range. I don't recommend it, but at the very least, leave it at -3. You don't want to be pushing it near zero, and you're trying to sell beats to an artist or whatever, and they can't even. They only have so much headroom to deal with, or whoever you're giving the beat to, like a mix and master engineer, when they try to put things on here, you never want to, you know. So I would attribute how much volume there is, like the max output, to headroom. So the more you leave out, the lower the volume on the master, the more headroom that you have. But you don't want it to be too low, otherwise you can't hear it. But you also don't want it to be nearing zero, because I mean there's nothing, you're not putting vocals or anything like that on here. And even if you do, I mean for producers mainly, it's mainly for the instrumental itself. It's not necessarily somebody rapping on it. But whenever you try to sell it to rappers, you keep it, I would suggest, between -6 and -12. And for the hi hat, I typically like using Flingus, and I use for drums. That just works for me. I used to use phaser and mess with the hi hats. That was my thing with hi hats. But I use for drums for a reason. For you hear it regularly, but you hear it with this, and it sounds like beefy, and it sounds like it has more definition. It's the small things that matter, pretty much. Small things that typically matter. All right. So what else? Sometimes I like to add imager on my leads, for my samples, etc. Sometimes I want to add. Sorry, my mind is kind of blinking out right now. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, so I typically add the ozone imager. You can actually get this for free. I typically like it. I mean, you could use it in Ozone 9, but I prefer to use it like this because less CPU. For example, you can hear it at a. You can pretty much see it really. So it's mono, but the more you add on, I usually keep it here. I mean, you can add it more, but I don't typically do that. I just press mode 1 and I mess with it. I also have this effect that I want to use a little bit. It's a little bit more ear candy. I I mean, full spectrum. It sounds like this, but that's too much. So I just use a little bit of it. It's stutter edit. If you're wondering why I have all how I have all these plugins, I promise you I'm not torrenting it. I don't even torrent on FL Studio. At one point I did because I didn't have the money, but I was like, at some point you gotta invest in yourself, man. Even all these packs, man. I have so many packs. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Like I have packs for. I mean, you see Semantics Chaos, you see Pharaoh, you see Cross, you see Curtis King packs, like Slap X, like there's so many free packs. There's so many here that it's almost like I'll never run out of packs, honestly. Actually, I'm gonna make it easier for myself because I've been messing with MiniVerb a lot. It's more of a recent plugin that I have, so I'm gonna use this effector, lo-fi, turn it down a bit, turn the bypass off. And usually with my samples, I typically I go here, I go to this option miscellaneous functions, I press cut self so that it doesn't overlap. It ends up being louder than it should be. Let me see if I can do this for example. So like if I keep pressing this over and over again, sometimes it'll show it going higher and higher and higher. So what I do so that it doesn't clash too much, I just use cut by self. Sometimes I forget about it, but other time I'm just showing you just so you know. To save you a lot of headroom for all you know. And now I'm gonna use the now I'm gonna go full spectrum with it. So let's see. Now I'll add the bass last a little bit. I'll add the bass last. I'm I'm probably gonna end up uploading this beat particularly on Sunday. It's either gonna be Sunday or Monday. The other beat, the first beat that I showed y'all at the beginning of the stream, that's gonna be out tomorrow. But this one, it's probably gonna be the next day or the following day. So typically I'll just take out the kick, take out certain things. I might as well take out this loop just because there's no point in even having it at this point. May add the fact that I have here just to make it more interesting. So I'm just going to add animation clip. So boom, boom. And we'll see how I feel about that. But what I do is for the filter out effect, I like to use Fruity Love filter. Press the plugin over once, put it on LP2, keep it high, create automation clip. Add like a little effect right there. Add it up there. This radio effect is pretty much pointless. Yeah, I'll probably add the beat back in around this area. What I'll do, actually, I'm gonna use stutter edit, probably in this area somewhere. Maybe add a little bit more copy paste or copy value, whatever. Add it to this area. is add the chorus back in. That's gonna be probably gonna put this down here, and that's gonna be, I believe, this. Area right here. I may even add something else that you might not hear in here, like a little rising effect. Or I just leave it like that on. Actually, what I'm gonna probably do is this. So I'm gonna do some crossfade bleeding. So, for example, watch, listen. So, oh, I messed it up a little bit. My bad. My bad. So it fades out a little bit. So I don't even have to really add a rise effect. I just use some music theory and just did that. Just add that little tail ending, drag it out a little bit. And this is pretty much the beat. Last thing I'm probably gonna do right now is try to see about the bass. Something like that. Something like that. So boom, boom. And make the second half a little bit more interesting. I'd probably just leave it like that. Okay, yeah, that sounds better. Let me hear it with it. sometimes I like to add imager on the 808 as well, but not too much. That would be too much. And sometimes you can add like an effect, lo-fi effect, vector, add a little bit of definition to it. Wait, did I? Okay, I was about to say. Not sure why I have two of these. And what I like to do, sometimes in this case, what may actually help the mix is to link the kick channel to the like sidechain it to the overall sample. You're about to see what I'm about to do. I'm basically gating it. So the track is going to end up dipping every single time the kick is in. So a beat actually sounds harder than what it is. It almost makes it seem like the kick is so hard that the sample is dipping out, essentially. Or it's distorting the sample a little bit. So what we want to get is, let me see if I can, a limiter. So fruity limiter. Go here. When you sidechain it here, you can actually do this. Otherwise, it won't show up. But here it shows up. I go here. I put the threshold a little bit. Put the ratio maybe to like 4. So it really doesn't matter. So you can actually see it and you can hear it. I'm about to go get it. I'm about to get lit with it. I'm about to get some chicken. I got the shooters and I got the hitters. I got the shooters and I got the hitters. I'm about the shooters and I got the hitters. You are not finna quitters. I did it. Hold on, watch this. She like the way that I move. She like the way that I move. She like the way that I groove. She like the way that I, she like the way that I, she like the way that I move. She like the way that I move. She like the way that I move. She like the way that I. Poopity scoop, scoopty poopty whoop, whoopty scoop, poopity whoop, scoop, whoop. Man, I'm having too much fun with it. I'm having way too. Oh man. So that's pretty much the full spectrum of it. The last thing I do, I'll add it in. I'll add it in just to show you. But this is gonna be the last thing I'm pretty much gonna be adding on here. So let me see. Like I said, new layout. So I'm just trying to figure out. Oh yeah, air. So the riser, you should get this plugin. I think it's like $5, $10, whatever. It's worth it. It's worth it. Definitely worth it. I'm gonna put this 6 was. Turn it down a little bit. Trying to figure out what I want. So here. That's just the default. Or just add one of these just to keep it simple. We're gonna hear in the full spectrum. I'm gonna let you listen to the whole thing. that's pretty much the whole beat right there. And what I'm probably going to do at the end is basically filter it out. So right here, gonna make it dip. See if I have it here. So paste the value, and right near the end, I just dip it. Yeah, that's pretty much the whole beat right there. Um, if you've been listening to the stream, or you've been on the stream, all that, or basically if you just listen to the stream, or you just listen to the, even if it's the replay, I appreciate you for listening. I hope, like I said before in the beginning, I hope this is the start of something big, really big. I'm kind of like, I'm pretty much introverted, so I don't typically like to show my face or anything like that. But eventually, I'll probably end up doing that when it comes to, more so when it comes to gaming and everything like that, or if I become more popular. So yeah, I appreciate all y'all for stopping by and everything like that. God bless all of y'all. Y'all have a good night, and peace out.